No, they closed the door to the bedroom. You know, guys, I'm gonna sleep on the couch with you.
I'm gonna keep it short and simple for this video. It is not gonna get better, okay? It is not. For the average man in the West, it is not gonna get any better. I am not even talking about the poor, low status and sub-5 men. I am talking about the average Joe. Guys, the cold, harsh truth is, the worst is yet to come. It is not gonna get better economically, and it is not gonna get any better for men socially either. And of course, all this is not independent from the data market. In any given society, socioeconomic landscape is inextricably intertwined with the data market. Sure, looks are still the king, but the MV, data market value, is much more relative and dynamic phenomenon. Other parameters also come into play. Location, height, time, neurotypicality, and other parameters. A 5 out of 10 man who's working a normal, regular job, he is going to lose even more purchasing power in the future. Both when it comes to the general marketplace and also when it comes to the data marketplace, even less value he will hold in the future. Economically, the real wages have been stagnating for quite a while now. This is very well known. I mean, you just look at housing prices. It is just more competition for lesser opportunities. Workers in the West are actually losing purchasing power. Housing is more expensive, more competition for everything. It is much harder to get ahead in life for the average man. There are multiple reasons for this, of course. Automation, the mobility of workers, aka immigration, women also participating in the workforce now. Now women are also in the competition. And it is actually easier for them to get accepted into colleges, easier for them to get into positions in the job market. I have seen this myself, guys. I see this myself still. Everything has been the same. They even earn more than men. And on top of that, now we are competing in the globalized labor market as well. You don't like what I am offering? I will just hire some poor Indian or Bangladeshi who is willing to break his back just for a residence card. And what is even more brutal is, guys, you don't even really need the workers here in the West, especially in the tech industry. Companies outsource a lot of stuff to India, to Bangladesh, because even if you work with the best developer company in India, the most expensive one you can find, you are still paying about the half of what you would pay if you hired that developer team in the West. So this obviously impacts the wages. But the truth be told, it is less about the stagnating wages, guys. It is less about the purchasing power not being the same, especially when it comes to stuff like housing. Less about that, but more about the fact that men cannot hold women hostage in marriages anymore. Guys, I can't hold women hostage anymore like I would have been able to if this was 60, 70 years ago. Economically and socially. Young women now are earning more than young men. We can't hold them economic hostages anymore. And we can't hold them social hostages either. There is not a social stigma anymore for unmarried 25-year-old, 30-year-old women these days, like there used to be in the past. If anything, it is expected these days for a 25-year-old woman to be unmarried. So men cannot hold women hostages anymore. And of course, this impacts oofy-doofy average men negatively, who can only get females through that way, by holding them hostage. Today, you show a girl her dad, 25-year-old version of her dad. She would say, who's this loser? Female viewers of this channel, be real, be honest. If the 25-year-old version of your dad approached you today, you would call the National Guard. You would call the Special Forces.
Minimum height.
6 feet.
Yeah, that's where they get you. Would you exclude obesity?
Absolutely.
Minimum income, so...
I'm gonna say at least 200.
200 grand?
You can be 30 years old and make 200 grand.
Oh my goodness. Take a guess at what percentage of men fit this criteria? 2%? Much lower. It's 0.049%.
All right, is this going on the TV?
Then I don't even need to talk about the social landscape. Overton window is moving fast, very fast. What is acceptable or even popular today won't be acceptable tomorrow. We see this with the age thing, These days, you approach a woman who is in her 20s as a 30-year-old man, you will get accused of grooming. Like, it is crazy, bro. I just don't see it getting any better in the future either. Like, this is gonna get worse. Hypergamy is completely unchecked and celebrated even. Like, forget about it being unchecked. It is celebrated. The demand for women didn't decrease, it increased. It absolutely increased. Tech globalized the dating market. Now you have to compete with some rich or good-looking dude who is in another state and can fly to see her in a moment's notice. You are now competing against better dudes who live in other states, who live in other countries even, not only the local chat. Brutal stuff, bro. I mean, this is gonna get worse. Back then, if you wanted the cringe max, you would have to go to pubs and clubs to approach women there in real life. Now, any autistic, timid, scared male can just increase the supply on the market through online avenues. I mean, I just don't see anything getting better in the future. I just don't. Because of this socioeconomic landscape, the opportunities are just not there for men to get ahead in life. The only way out is maybe geomaxing. But when it comes to the West, honestly man, it is GG. It is raps. This is why I believe MTAV community will be much more popular in the future. We have a lot of differences with them, with the MTAV community, but I believe regardless of their pitiful copes, the end result advice they give is actually beneficial for the average man, average looking man. It doesn't surprise me that the BP and MTAV communities are slowly converging. I don't agree with the MTAV mental gymnastics, but I understand, man. I understand that the end advice they give is actually good, beneficial for the average males. And that advice is simply fooling yourself into thinking that you have gone your own way and drop out of the dating market. Guys, I really came to believe that the average looking sub-6 males and low status and sub-6 males are better off dropping out of the dating market because they will only end up becoming beta box deluxe, an oofy doofy, if you will. They won't be truly loved. They won't be truly desired. So, of course, it is better for them to fool themselves into thinking that they have chosen to drop out, when in reality, a woman fired them a long time ago. They got deported. Deported from the dating market, deported from the labor market, deported from the everything else, really. Total oofy-doofy deportation. As much as I disagree with a lot of stuff MTAL people say, the final advice they give, regardless of how they get there, might be better than trying to looks max, especially for sub-5 men. Looks max for what, bro? For what? To get to a 5, a 6. Dude, like, honestly, go watch Hammerhand videos. I can give you a list of surgeries, a bunch of surgeries, but like there is no silver bullet. All those surgeries, hundreds of thousands of dollars, years of recovery. By that time, standards will be even higher than today. You can't beat the house, bro. Understand that. You cannot beat the house. So once again, all roads lead to Hammerhand. Despite what you might think, I don't really dislike Hammerhand. I don't hate him. I think he's coping, yes, but at least he's not telling men to run game. He's not telling men to pay for PUA. He's simply telling men to drop out of the dating market. And let's be honest here, man. Let's be honest. Men who females truly love and desire are not going to be watching Hammerhand videos. So it is not like women are begging his viewers to date them, but Hammerhand is stopping those guys and doing those men a disservice. That is why I always say, now of course it is much better for you if you watch my videos as a sub-8 man, sub-6 man. I mean, his worldviews haven't been updated since Jimmy Carter was in the office. He doesn't understand what it's all about, how it is for young people today. But despite everything, despite everything I have done and tried, if you are not ready for the BP, go watch his videos. At the very least, the end result advice he gives is not as harmful. Hey man, go your own way. If the truth is just too brutal for you, and I get it, some men are just too prideful. If they didn't have that one final defense mechanism, they would break and lose any motivation to do anything in life. Overall, it would be worse for them and for society as well. Society needs men to cope, just like a religion, just like how religion works for some people. How, some people, especially the less fortunate people, need religion to keep going. They have to believe that they will be rewarded for putting up with BS in this life. It is not the only reason. It is not the only appeal of religions, but a pretty major selling point. You gotta admit. You gotta admit this, even if you are religious, bro. Come on, man. Which one is better? Which one is more sweet to believe in? That you are gonna get rewarded for putting up with this BS in this life? Or that all this suffering was for nothing? Come on, bro. Easy choice. I mean, just look at the most religious countries out there. You probably don't even need to open the world map. Just look at your own country, the demographics of your own country, whatever your country is. Go ahead and tell me, on average, the demographics in your country who are more religious aren't usually the less privileged ones, the ones who have it harder in life. Tell me, bro. Tell me I'm wrong. The more brutal it gets, the harder people have to cope. Otherwise, it is just, what is even the point of their suffering? There is no point. That is the point. That is the entire point.
Remember, God made you and He doesn't make mistakes. You are valued and treasured by Him.
About a year ago, I have shown you this as the 5 pillars of success in life. 5 factors governing success. And all of them, every single one of them comes down to luck. People are not dumb, bro. People are dumb, but not that dumb. Especially in today's day and age where they can see everything. They can see how the fortunate people live their lives. They are aware of how unfair everything is. How everything comes down to luck in life. Somehow they gotta make it make sense. So they resort to religion. Religion is that final line of defense mechanism to keep them going, to give them any meaning. MTAV and religions are very much alike. Hey man, we are breaking our backs so that the daughter of the boss can buy a new yacht to snort lines in. But don't worry bro, we will be rewarded and she will go to hell. Oh, when I go MTAV, the daughter of the boss will have missed out on me. When I go MTAV, 18-year-old daughter of the boss will see then. The harder you get shafted in life, the harder you have to cope. I have seen this over and over again in life. They need the religion. Just like how sub-8 man, sub-6 man, low-status man need the MTAV cop. Very much like that. And you will see these two communities converge even more in the future. You already see this, but it is gonna get worse. Wheat Waffles made this MTAV video, for example. Oh, the great exodus. We are going our own way, boys. He's the biggest BP channel. Has 150,000 subs. 10 times bigger than my channel. More than 10, in fact. Oh, men are going their own way. Sure, there are some men doing that. Few men that have truly withdrawn from the market. But when you look at the bigger picture, it is a woman who sent men their own way. This is not exodus. This is deportation. This is total oofy-doofy deportation. We got deported from economic landscape, economic market. We got deported from the sexual marketplace. We got deported. He should have titled this video The Great Deportation, because that is exactly what happened.
So, with good reason, a lot of men have packed their bags and decided the juice simply isn't worth the squeeze.
Bro, the reason why those marriage numbers have been nosediving is the social and economic landscape changes that I have mentioned in the first part. We can't hold women hostages anymore. I likely would have been married by now if I lived 60 years ago. But I can't hold some female hostage anymore. Not economically and not socially. Females can get to the same positions as men just as easily, get accepted to colleges easier than men, get hired easier than men. This not only creates more competition and decreases our bargaining power in the labor market, but it also takes out the only leverage oofy-doofy men had, which is holding the woman hostage. The reason why those numbers have been going down is because women don't need the oofy-doofy anymore, not because the pitiful orbiters don't exist in masses. Oh, men are packing their bags, brother. These oofy-doofies ain't packing anything. I will tell you that much.
Now, the number of men pursuing this way of life is undoubtedly increasing. Ask yourself, how many guys do you know who live as basement dwellers playing Valorant and Skyrim for 12 hours a day? Loads.
I think Wheat Waffle makes another mistake here. The escapism he refers to, playing video games and stuff, is the result of them getting sent. He's once again confusing the effect with the cause. The kind of kids who wrote playing video games 24/7, they know they got sent their own way. Escapism and self-destruction is the effect, bro, not the cause. Remember the case of Mitten Squad, right? He turned to video games, playing Fallout 24/7 and drinking. Some people turn to other escapism and self-destruction routes. But that is the result. It is not that Mitten Squad wanted to be an alcoholic overnight. There is more pitiful men on the market today due to online dating. Sure, there are some guys who truly checked out, playing video games, just rotting at home. But overall, it is much worse. You also gotta realize, even if some dude checks out in some small town, with the online world today, women have access to everywhere. That rare guy who checked out has been rendered useless already. I also find it hilarious that the largest BP channel is actually steering to MTAVs. Bro, this is MTAV stuff. Even Wheat Waffles is talking like Hammerhand now. You wait a couple more years and you will see him making cold live streams with Hammerhand. All roads really do lead to Hammerhand. Oh, the great exodus. Bro, it is great deportation. Average man has been rendered useless and replaceable. Economically, socially, and sexually. That's really all there is to it.
The males get very upset when I reminded them that they are born at the wall and women are always desired at any age. So they come back with their BS. Oh, well, we don't desire you for more than sex. Let me remind you of who you are. Right now as we speak, there are men buying toenail clippings, armpit shavings, skin whatevers. There are men paying women to text them, to talk to them on their phone, to step on them. There are men who pay me to come and clean my house. And there are 60-year-old women who have men come and clean their house, okay? As in the man cleans and the man pays. Men are begging for intimacy. Men are begging to talk to women. Men are begging for commitment.
One final point I will make before concluding this week's video. This is yet another MTAV cop. Oh bro, women actually don't want this. They are happier when they are subjugated. It is in their nature, feminine nature, to be subservient to men, you know. Yeah dude, sure. I am sure they would love to go back to 30s. They would love to go back to times where they had to tolerate doofy. They had to tolerate men like Bob creeping up on them. Dude, put yourself in her shoes. Just imagine, alright, you are married to someone like Bob. Imagine him trying to creep up on you every single night. Cause best believe that is how she felt like. Every single time he touched her. Every time he touched her, she felt violated. Then it doesn't even end there. You have to tolerate that goof lords, cringe maxed activities day in day out. Of course, when you go to a social event, wearing a Let's Go Brandon hat is embarrassing. Regardless of your political stance, if you fail to understand why, that is another sign of you being an oofy-doofy. Imagine what kind of other cringe-maxed activities he attends to on a daily basis, and what kind of stuff you have to witness being married to someone like Bob. I don't blame his wife, man. I don't. A lot of men are getting deported from life. He should have titled that video The Great Deportation, because that is what it is. Men are begging for female validation. But to wrap this up, this trend doesn't surprise me. The BP and MTAV communities are converging more and more, getting bigger. It is expected, bro. It is really expected. As long as this socioeconomic landscape continues, which it will, things are gonna get harder for the average man. But let's put our pride and ego aside for a second and call it what it is. The Great Deportation. Don't be a free agent in life.